All right. Well, this is exciting. This is full house. This is great. So appreciate everybody coming in and spending the time with us. But really excited to introduce Sam Darnold as our new quarterback. And this is exciting times, man. Just it's been a whirlwind couple weeks here, as you guys, it's well documented. But as this thing started to come together, it feels similar like the way I felt, introducing Clint was just, looking into Sam and obviously going against him in my career and here last year at Lumen against the Vikings. You think about first of all, he's just a tremendous human being, great leader. We got a lot of people in our building that have a history with Sam, that have a lot of respect for him as a person, as a leader, as a football player. So I'm really excited to get our relationship started and getting to, introduce himself to the rest of the team and the city and the 12s. I think we're going to be really proud of our quarterback here. And then obviously as a football player and as a quarterback, just a heck of a player, just tough as nails from my opinion. Great arm. I mean, you go through all the talent and all. We can talk about that till we're blue in the face, but just really excited about what Sam's going to bring to our football team and just an exciting time. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's introduce Sam Darnold as our new quarterback.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate that, Coach. First and foremost, I'm just excited to be here. Excited to, get to know this organization. I've already met, I think most of the people, not most of the people, but some of the people I'll be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So excited just to meet my teammates. I've met a couple of the new ones already. D-Law, Josh. Just very, very excited to get to meet everyone. And just about this organization, man, I've heard so many good things about this organization from, different guys that have played here, retired, and still playing in the league. You hear nothing but great things about this organization. And, man, I'm just so excited to be a part of it. Excited to meet some of the fans, the 12s. Playing here, I think I've played here a total of 3 times, actually played twice. I was a backup in San Francisco, working with Clint here one of those times, and it's an unbelievable atmosphere at Lumen Field. And I'm so excited to finally have those 12s on my side this time. Yeah, man, just really looking forward to this opportunity to be here with my teammates, with these coaches. I think we have an opportunity to do something very, very special here, but it's gonna take a lot of hard work, and we know that. I know that going in, and yeah, just very excited to take this one day at a time, and that's gonna be that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my head down and go to work, and just excited to do that.
Sam, can you just take us through kind of the process for you of, I guess, once you learned you weren't going to stay with the Vikings, I guess, and just kind of how the Seahawks got into it?
Yeah. Just kind of talking through, obviously heard the Geno news. When that broke, I kind of understood that this could potentially be a spot for me. And then, what was it, Monday? Just kind of, letting my agents and these guys kind of figure out, what would be a really good fit for me. And that kind of, came to fruition a little bit. And then finally on Wednesday, finally getting to talk to some of these coaches and, even have some of the players reach out to me, guys that I play with at USC, having Jackson reach out as well. Just so eager. I met Jackson at the Pro Bowl, and just so eager to get to know each other and, get working, talking about when we're going to throw with each other and stuff like that. So just very excited, man, about this opportunity and just to go to work with these guys in the building every single day.
Clint, you worked with Sam in 2023. You obviously saw what he did last year. What about his game fits what you want to do on offense?
Yeah, Sam is extremely talented, obviously a great thrower of the football. His mobility sticks out, his toughness, his maturity. I think one thing about Sam that really sticks out is just he's an A-plus teammate. Elevates those around him, and the guys he plays with respect him, because when your best players are your hardest workers, that's what you really strive for. It's what you want as a coach, and Sam has that in spades.
Sam, why is this scheme good for you?
Yeah, obviously, working with Clint a little bit in San Francisco, very familiar with the scheme. Ran some very, very similar concepts last year in Minnesota as well. And, yeah, just, even getting to talk to Clint a little bit, on Wednesday, just being very, very excited just about this opportunity and just to be able to collaborate, I think, is the biggest thing. Like, there's variations of the same system that kind of go around the NFL. And being in one of those last year and kind of getting to morph a little bit of that with obviously most of the stuff that we did in San Francisco, and then I know he grew on his system a little bit last year in New Orleans. So again, just very, I know I keep using this word, but very excited to just get rolling on kind of what this system, what the offense is going to look like next year.
What particularly about the system, Sam, fits your skills? What are the specific
Yeah, I think,
aspects?
first and foremost, I think maybe Clint could talk a little bit more about that in detail, but I know foundation is the run game, and we're gonna run the rock. I know Clint's big on running the rock, and you got to do that, and building that off of play action, keepers, and dropping back when you have to.
How much was the system an attraction to signing with Seattle?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the things that I factored into signing here, and again, just being able to work with Clint and having talked with Clint a ton in San Francisco about kind of what we like, dislike. We have so much in common when it comes to football, and yeah, just very very pumped to get this thing going.
What do you think things clicked for you in Minnesota the way they did last year?
Yeah, I think for me it was I think the biggest thing was just playing consistent football. And then it's a lot easier said than done, but not turning the football over. I think that's the biggest thing, is like kind of understanding when a play's dead, especially on first and second down. And then third down, like you're going to have some plays where, the D-line might get a good rush and they might get in there, and you got to take a sack and keep two hands on the ball and let, what's his, Dixon? Our punter, do his thing back there.
Nice.
That's one. Yeah, just very, being very smart, situationally aware, I think, is the biggest thing that kind of, turned my game into being kind of, here and there, hit and miss, to playing consistent football. Was, I think, just situational awareness and understanding within the scheme kind of where my outlets were.
You had more explosive passes than any quarterback in the NFL last year.
Mm-hmm. Where are you at? I'm sorry. Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What about your game allows you to excel on those deeper passes?
Yeah, it's it doesn't happen by mistake. I work on that a ton. Have worked on that the last few years in the off season. Being able, whether it's mechanics and mentally, just understanding, okay, like leverages of safeties. How are we gonna attack this guy? How are we gonna attack the post safety this week? When they do play split safety, is it cover two quarters? Like there's so many different variations of too high that you can play. So it's just kind of understanding who we're playing, where the weaknesses are in that defense, and how we can take advantage over the top. And then again, like the biggest thing is, if it's not there, understanding where my outlets are.
Mike, you game planned it for Sam last year. You coached against him. Now that he's on your side, what excites you about his game?
Well, I think Sam's best days are ahead of him, and I think you've seen that through the course of his career. I was able to grow as a player. I can assure you, talking to some of our defensive guys, like we felt them out there. Like when you play quarterbacks or quarterbacks on your team, you want to feel them in the game, and you definitely feel Sam's presence and poise, competitiveness. Accuracy, all the downfield threat. That's definitely a part of it. And then being able to run the show too operationally. Sam can do it with the best of them as well.
Mike, maybe the flip side of Bob's question, getting to the point you guys did where you made the decision you did with Gino, and then targeting Sam as where you were going to go next. Can you kind of walk us through that process and how you got to this point?
Well, yeah, it was it was an interesting series of events for sure. But when it became apparent that we were going to have to pivot away from Gino, then definitely hoping that it was going to land with Sam. There's some time there, but everyone involved in the process was awesome. John was awesome. Joey Lane was awesome. All of our pro personnel people were on it. So just really fortunate that it worked out the way it did. And there's great quarterbacks out there that that we looked into, but it was really apparent that Sam was our guy.
What were the dynamics having to make that choice?
Well, I would say like once we decided to make the move with Gino, understanding who was out there, definitely Sam became the #1 focus pretty quickly.
Success in Minnesota partly to being smart, not turning the ball over, but it was more than just that. You threw 35 touchdown passes, you had over 4,300 passing yards. Statistically, just leaps and bounds better than previous years. Do you feel like you found something in your game going to that year, or was there film or coaches that unlocked something?
Yeah, I think you learn from experience, good or bad. I learned a ton being in New York, learned a ton being in Carolina, learned a ton, going to San Francisco, and Clint was a huge part of that. Just kind of understanding, okay, like, and I really, thank Brock a ton, Brock Purdy, for, just his style of play and how he kind of described his style is like, we got a ton of great playmakers on offense. Like, my job is just to play point guard and get the ball in their hands and let them go do great things with the rock. And when I started to change my thought process as a quarterback to kind of just getting the ball in my guys' hands, then that's kind of where it unlocked for me a little bit. And then obviously the coaching I got in Minnesota, it was an incredible experience. KO, Josh, Wes, Grant, all those guys. I can go on and on. Obviously the players that we had in Minnesota as well. But yeah, it's a credit to everything, man. I can't necessarily point to one thing, but my entire journey has been about growing as a person and as a player, and that's kind of where and I'm just so thankful that it's led me to this point here in Seattle.
After the season ended, where was your head at in terms of possibly returning to Minnesota or testing free agency?
Yeah, we were kind of looking at all possibilities, to be honest. I'm just very happy that all roads kind of led to Seattle.
Mike, you guys have obviously made some big moves with DK and Tyler since then as well. I know you're not done, I guess, but the offense right now, kind of, what's your vision for that going forward and with the changes you've made and without having DK and Tyler?
Well, I think the vision for our offense has stayed the same. Those are big shoes to fill, and you can't do it just by like one person, but I think like the synergy involved that's gonna be needed in order to do it is exciting. As we start to build this, the guys are in the building, the possibilities of people that we can either acquire in the draft or throughout the whole process. So vision maintains the same, and excited. Just like Sam's talking about, his mentality with of this growth mindset of like trying to build our football team and take it to the next level. That's there, man. Like this is great. I'm happy everybody's here. Can't wait till we actually start doing some real football.
Sam, 11 months ago, Sam, when you were in Minnesota and they draft J.J. McCarthy 10th overall, and if someone had told you you'd have 3,500 yards or 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns and now a contract with Seattle and be the franchise, what would you have said then 11 months ago?
It's tough, man. Like, whenever you get into hypotheticals, that's always kind of a world I try to stray away from a little bit or stay away from. But yeah, I knew the possibilities of going there, and that's one of the reasons I signed there was the potential to, to have success, and not just have success, but again, like, this whole journey's been about for me. It's been about learning and growing, and I knew I was going to have a chance to do that there, and was able to just play, like I keep mentioning, I was able to play consistent football on a weekly basis, and just happy to be able to do that here now.
And you mentioned learning from experiences. What did you learn from the end of last season? What do you feel like you can grow from just from having that success and then reaching that hurdle and not being able to get over that?
Yeah, again, I was waiting for someone to bring that up, by the way. I appreciate that. No, it's fair, man. Like, you get all the way to that point. You have the season that we had offensively as a team, and then, you run into, at the end of the day, like, only one team can win the Super Bowl. And unfortunately, we weren't that team. But I learned a ton from those last two games, especially playing Detroit and playing LA. We're going to see LA twice a year, obviously, playing in this division, and really looking forward to that. But yeah, it's just continuing to learn things about yourself, what they did schematically, and yeah, that's basically all you can do is just learn from those experiences.
Clint, your oldest starter, at least now, is 27, and the longest tenure is 3 years on the team. How important is the leadership you're going to be looking for Sam in this offense?
Yeah, it's very important, and Sam, he's going to lead through his production. You know, all the players are. You know, they got a job to do, and they got to go play the game. And I want his natural personality to come out, and that's why he's here, because he has that natural ability to lead. But most importantly, he's a great player, and he's going to go lead with his production, and we're going to help him as a staff and as a team. It's not all about Sam; it's about who the guys he's throwing to, the guys he's blocking for him. You know, tight ends, running backs. It's all a team thing. And I'm glad that he's leading the charge, but we're going to have success when the team has success.
You've coached quarterbacks a long time, Clint. Just that position in particular, are people maybe too quick to just kind of write a guy off when they've got, you know, just everything that goes into that, and then we see someone like Sam do what he did that part of his career last year?
No, I agree with that. You know, there's only there's 32 jobs, right? And then you maybe you get selected early, you get a year or two maybe to prove yourself, and then they kick you to the curb. And then some guys are mainly tough enough to come back and fight through it. And I'm sitting next to one of them. You go back to his 2022 season where, you know, he didn't play till the end of the year. The last 6 games, he goes 4-2 in Carolina, and then comes to San Francisco and sits behind Brock and keeps growing as a player, and then goes and does what he does in Minnesota. That's just really impressive to have that kind of to be that kind of a fighter and to stay in the fight, and then when you get your chance again and be ready. And Sam was ready, and Sam earned this job here.
Clint, can you talk about the value of situational awareness in a quarterback? I know Sam talked about it, but as an offensive coordinator, how important is that?
Well, it's critical, right? And Sam touched on it. You know, that comes with experience, and Sam's had a lot of experience and was really well coached in Minnesota. Having you can only remind a quarterback so much before that button goes off and you can't talk to them anymore. So they got to have it ingrained in them. Those are things you talk about in the meeting room, but to have a guy that can go execute that on game day with 70,000 people screaming at him, it's not easy to find. We got the right guy here.
Sam, Mike said he thinks your best days are still ahead of you. Where's somewhere you see you want to make a step forward in, even beyond what you did last year?
Yeah, I think, I kind of look at those last couple games. I think being able to get the ball out a little bit quicker on some of the drop back stuff that we had those last couple games, and understanding where the outlets are, and even if a guy's covered, like even if my back's covered on a check down, like just throwing it at his feet. I felt like I was taking some unnecessary sacks last year, especially those last few games, and just going to continue to work that however I can in drills and drill settings, early April, and even later this March. But when we start to get into those team periods and start to get into training camp a little bit, I'll definitely be thinking about that, keeping 2 hands on the ball in the pocket at all times, and just doing all the little fundamental things, and I think, but that's a big one, is being able to just get the ball out on time.
Mike, when you do something as seismic as trade your quarterback, trade someone as productive, and establish a DK, and cut someone like Tyler, it can create the perception you guys
All
are
those
rebuilding.
things happen?
Yeah. It can create the idea that you guys are rebuilding. How would you explain why that's not the case?
Well, I mean, I don't think that really showed up in our mindset throughout the whole process. I think you're always looking at all these moves as serious as they seem to be, and they were as they happen. It's all through the lens of what's best for the team now and in the long run. So just seemed that they happened all kind of sequentially back to back to back, which was necessary at the time. But we're rocking, man. We're rolling. I think we're really excited about our future. And I mean, these are like the kind of the dull days of March with your team. It's a dead period and all that. So we're building right now behind the scenes. So when the guys show up, we hit the ground running 100 miles an hour in April.
Mike, how do you, the defense, you got Jaron and Ernest re-signed and DeMarcus Lawrence, how do you kind of feel about those moves and what they've done?
I feel tremendous about those moves. I mean, we got to meet those guys today, or we got to meet D-Law today. And, man, just getting those guys back. Jay Reed, such a great leader on our team. We all saw what happened to our defense when Ernest walked in the door. There's no secret about it. I mean, the guy's a force multiplier. And then you've seen the tape with DeMarcus. He's a dynamite player. We obviously have a relationship with him and AD, being from Dallas, so with a lot of respect for him. I know Clint's had the game plan against him, which probably isn't a pleasant experience. So I think we're building something really cool on defense.
Mike, where are you on the offensive line and at wide receiver from where you want to be right now?
I mean, will we ever be where we want to be? Probably not. I mean, as a football team, we're never going to sit up here and be like, hey, we're satisfied. You know, that's not going to be our mentality. But it's an ongoing process about where we're at. Turns out, I don't think we have to play for another 5 months or so. So there's plenty of time to develop the guys we have in-house, and there's going to be opportunities to add guys when necessary that fit us and are the right moves in those times. So that's where we're at.
Sam, I know you like to score, but which would you prefer, long 6-minute drive or a quick strike?
Say that one more time.
In scoring, which is your preference? A 6-minute drive or a quick strike? With the clock being, all things being even.
Sure. I mean, I feel like that, I don't know, it's scoring a touchdown is, I mean, you'll take it however it comes, whether it's a long, you know, like you mentioned, like if it's a 6-minute drive, 15, 16 play drive, those are great. I know the big boys up front might not appreciate that answer, but that's always a fun one. Coming off to the sideline, some of those guys getting oxygen, and those are always fun drives for me because, you know, you're handing the ball off, you're just methodically moving the ball down the field, maybe converting a few third downs. But then, you know, you have sometimes the 98-yard touchdowns that happen, and those are always fun too when you get to run down the field with your boys and celebrate as you're running down the field, hearing the echo in your helmet. There's nothing like it, man. There's nothing like scoring a touchdown, whether it's me throwing it or whether it's, you know, someone, whether it's a running back, fullback, whoever running the ball in. There's nothing like hearing that noise, especially in a place like Lumen, to be able to hear that after a score. There's nothing like it in the world.
Sam was one of the best play-action passers in the game last year. Talk about how important that is for your offense.
Yeah, definitely stands out on tape. You know, seeing Sam turn his back to the defense and find deep crossers and hit guys in stride is definitely a strength of his game, one of many strengths, throwing on the run. But, you know, to be an elite quarterback, you got to be at your best on third down in the red zone. And I think that's, too, where Sam really makes his strides. So that's the part we're most excited about.
What do you remember specifically about the win in Seattle last December, and how satisfying was it?
I appreciate that question.
I'm excited to talk about this. How long have we got? We got an hour? No, it was, it's incredible, man. Whenever you can come to an atmosphere like this and you know, everyone kind of goes quiet. You know, I'm not, hopefully that doesn't happen here anymore. But no, man, it was a special game. I felt like we, you know, as an offense, we weren't clicking the way that we wanted to. You know, and that's a huge credit to Coach and their entire staff for putting together a really good plan for us. And we were able to stay in the game just long enough to make that comeback at the end and have that touchdown. And yeah, and you know, our defense, I feel like, was able to kind of put it away there with the late turnover. But yeah, that's pretty much all I remember. I remember that touchdown, the one to Jets down the sideline. That was one that will be in my memory bank for as long as I live. So, but yeah, that was a, no offense, Coach, but I keep rambling about this. I asked you how long I had, because I'll keep going. But no, it was just a special moment to be able to win that football game. Yep.
Mike, same question for you. Apologize, but can you evaluate his performance in the fourth quarter of that game? And is there any extra weight that you put into what you see with your own eyes in evaluating whether you want to bring a guy in versus what you see on film for the rest of the
Yeah, first part of the question is, you know, we talked about it, but definitely felt Sam throughout the game. And, you know, you're calling a game against the quarterback, the personnel, your people, the person calling the plays on their team. So it was a heck of a battle. I mean, it's a knockdown, drag-out fight to the end. And to Sam's credit, they kept battling and found a way to win in the end. So a lot of respect for obviously what he did in the game. But the second part of the question was, I think absolutely, you know, to see it in person and see him perform and scout him throughout the week. You know, you're watching a lot of tape of, you know, pretty much every snap throughout the season. And so probably wouldn't have had that exposure going into the whole thing if we hadn't played Sam.
The revelation that you had in San Francisco about being the point guard, do you feel like earlier in your career you put more pressure on yourself to be more than that, being the third overall pick?
It wasn't necessarily, you know, being the third overall pick. I think even going back to college, I felt like if something wasn't there, like if a concept wasn't there, I was so eager to run, get out of the pocket. I'd been doing that since high school as well, and it was always easier for me. I felt like I could do that at ease, and you get to this level and it's not that easy. And, you know, I think that's where kind of the troubles came a little bit early in my career, was just thinking I could run around and make plays if something wasn't there. But yeah, I think that's just kind of where that stemmed from a little bit.
Sam, certainly we've talked about all these moves over the last week for this team. What does it mean, you know, for this city, for its fans, that you can help lead this new chapter of Seahawks football moving forward?
Yeah, again, I'm not necessarily, I can't think about the big picture like that. I think it's a lot easier for me to think about it as, okay, what do I have to do next? And what am I doing right now? Like me and Clint were talking about certain plays and, you know, kind of getting the playbook and starting with formations, you know, and that's kind of where my mind's at right now, is I'm not too worried about the big picture of things. All of that will kind of take care of itself if I just do my job and help this team the best I can, just win football games.
How much of what you're teaching him right now, or about to teach him, is the same he learned in San Francisco 2 years ago?
No, I think we'll keep some common things. Those are some conversations Sam and I will have going forward. But yeah, like Sam said earlier, throughout the league, we're running a lot of similar things, right? It's just about how we deploy our 5 eligibles and getting Sam on the same page with his receivers and tight ends and running backs. And you know, we're going to do what Sam does best and what his teammates do best, regardless of what may have been done in the past. So it's just important that we have a heck of an off season from middle of April through June, and get to know each other really well and get our offense going and be on the same page.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.